Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Last Minute Kickout. It's been a while. I'm sure you may have not seen that Invisible Survivor Series, but we did have a man that was having a long overdue holiday. Welcome back to the England, maybe nearly soon on its own England.
Welcome back to Fight Imminent Financial Disaster. Yeah,
exactly. Mr. Kevin Eva.
Hello. Yes, I was in Japan for 2 weeks with a member of the LMC family, Mr. Vija.
Did you see any Japanese wrestling?
You know what?
While you were over there?
You know what? I was asked that because there was a wedding just before I went. It wasn't mine, obviously, but there was a sort of family wedding of Double Cross, and I went to that, and I was asked by the suit hire guys because they saw I had my WCPW hoodie on, and it was like, "Oh, you're gonna go and Tokyo Dome and see any wrestling while you're in Japan?" And I sort of looked at him and I went, "Shit, that should have been an idea. I should have gone to see a wrestling show." But no, unfortunately. But I was too busy doing other things, and frankly, I don't think I'd have been able to afford it anyway. But it would have been nice. But
we'll have to work out an LMKO takes Japan tour at some point, and you can show me all the Japanese.
Considering how confused Vija was when I took him to see the one wrestling show that we went to, which was at Wolverhampton, where ironically I was today, to see Shikara doing King of Trios.
Right.
And there was a fantastic incident when we were there, because there was a very obvious over the ropes into the front row spot, which everyone was in the know of. Everyone was in the know of, and Bryce was telling everyone to get out of the way. And everyone understood that a wrestler is going over the top rope and doing a plunger on somebody into the front row and whatever. And Phil's just sitting there, happy and smiling, looking at Bryce. And he's going, "Move! Move!" And in the end, I pretty much just grabbed Phil and pulled him out of the way as his, 250 pounds worth of wrestler came flying through the air and landing in the space where he was. So I would be concerned about how he would have handled Japan. Phil please to not get out of the way and gets punched in the face by somebody.
I don't think you'd appreciate that.
No, not really.
But
wouldn't have understood.
And I have to apologise if it's been a little bit of time, Mr. Turbo, since the point. But you are the double WWE VIP in the room.
Yes, the double VIP.
He doesn't deserve this push,
Does he not?
Nah.
It's just as well, actually.
Nah. He's only done it because he's a ex-UFC fighter, everybody, as well. Little unknown.
Because I'm a VIP too!
No, you didn't. I know full well he's just given you the bag. He's given you the bag. That's a really nice thing, though, they do. And,
it was. Yeah, it was. I haven't actually opened it up yet.
Yeah. I mean, it was just an extra that I got from the second show that I went to, which was the Glasgow show, which was a better show than the Aberdeen one. I can definitely say that.
I think it would be good, actually, if we did a separate show on what happens when you are a WWE VIP and you can go through it.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely...
Because that's not something that anybody really knows. It happens. But
are you saying we should make our own, Talking Smack version of this show where we just... talk more after the podcast. That's it. But yes, we all had various things. That's why the Survivor Show wasn't there. But we are here to talk about Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2018. And we're not talking about the pre-show because none of us saw it, so that didn't happen.
Sorry.
I've heard there was one good match and another match where they changed the rules because no one knew what it was again. So there's that for you.
So same as usual then.
But yes, how did you guys enjoy the show off the bat?
It was definitely better than Survivor Series, I'll tell you that much.
Well, yes. SmackDown was allowed to be there for a start.
Yeah.
SmackDown were allowed to win some matches too.
Luckily, they were allowed to. Well, they were allowed to win matches, and they were allowed to win matches, and it be referenced that they had won matches.
Yeah, and also put on actually decent matches as well.
Honestly, guys, if we'd have had the show, it would have been a really low score. So it's probably just as well. TLC though, enjoyable. Enjoyable. Some interesting directions that they're going in, and some very interesting matches.
I think there was only 1 or 2 matches that I was not happy with. Otherwise, I think it was a very splendid card.
I mean, yeah, the card was chock-a-block with matches, as it has been with previous kind of like shows. I think there was like in total, including the pre-show, there was like 14 matches or 12 or 14 matches in total.
12 matches, including the pre-show.
All right, so yeah, it was quite chock-a-block for, and of course it was a
4-hour stint again. Yeah, I was not expecting a 4-hour stint for a non-main brand pay-per-view.
Well, that's what they're going for nowadays. It's like, although granted, what they might be going forward after what they've just done this past.
We'll talk about that at the end. We'll talk about that at the end.
We'll talk about that later on.
It's one of those things there, because if they're pushing to 4 hours, the problem with that is that when they have a dud match,
it's a very long dud.
It's a very long dud, and it just makes the entire pay-per-view drag. You are then more aware of the time than you would if it was a 3-hour, 3.5 hour.
I'm looking forward to WrestleMania 40, where it's just 24 hours long.
24 hours long. 24 hours long, going on it's already 2 days effectively anyway because of Access.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, 3 NXT as well.
3. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, we don't mention NXT at WrestleMania because it's just like, hey, what if we went to a good show? Oh wait, that's every NXT show.
Yeah. Anyway, let us get started before we get off track right at the beginning instead of in the middle and at the end.
Right.
We'll start with the opening of the show, the mixed match challenge finale of the Fabulous Truth. Carmella and R-Truth defeated Mahalisha of Alicia Fox and Jinder Mahal, the winner becoming the 30th entrant in the Royal Rumble for their representative Royal Rumble, and an all expenses paid trip to wherever.
Yeah, this happened.
I enjoyed this match.
Oh, well, it's good that you enjoyed this match because, frankly, I just saw this as comedy, shill, and nothing more.
Pretty much
because really, the whole Mixed Match Challenge Season 2 pretty much got screwed over this year as a whole. I mean, I don't know if you've been catching...
Which they did make mention of due to illnesses and injuries and everything else.
This was just plagued with so many problems. The whole tournament as a whole. It's a shame, really, because, I was expecting it to be as good as the last one, where, Miz and Asuka won it. But this time around, just rough.
Yeah. Well,
we get this as our final.
But the good thing about that was that it was the two teams that had stuck together throughout the entire thing. And I think that was actually quite a nice thing, actually, because in a company where two people can be flung together at, that, and all of a sudden be world beaters, we had a competition where actually, team... Actual being a team meant something in the long run.
I mean, let's be honest here, and they did mention this as well on the commentary, that, with the exception of, R-Truth, everyone in that ring was a world champion at one point.
Well, technically, R-Truth was an NWA.
Yeah, he was an NWA world, and he was also tag champions as well, multiple times. It's not like there's no pedigree of champions in that ring,
Yeah.
I think you find that was very clearly a Mr. Ron Killings, and I don't know what he has to do with R-Truth in the slightest. But I'll agree with commentary. The man doesn't age.
Yeah, does well for himself.
But 86 now. I think R-Truth or something.
He's not that old.
He's goes to the Patrick Stewart and Keanu Reeves school of eating small children for their life force.
He's actually got a setup like from the Dark Crystal, and he's just getting small children in and sucking their life force and rejuvenating himself.
Oh,
But I mean, let's put it fair. If you're not going to have your show opener with Be the New Day, the Usos in the bar, who are obviously going to, really heat the crowd up. I mean, R-Truth does get people, get the crowd.
Big old pop.
Their team up of R-Truth and Carmella obviously are the shtick where it's getting some audience attention and appreciation, and kind of get behind whatnot with the dance breaks. Although I'm not a big fan of the dance.
I'm not a fan of the dance break either.
No, it's like they've got some fan appeal. To it's just not my fan appeal. It's not down my alley, sadly. But and some of the stuff, obviously, R-Truth does kill it. I can definitely, I do see that in his work ethic, and it worked. And it's good. And it's just it was a short match. It wasn't gonna be that long.
No, it was only 5-6 minutes, but it was still enjoyable.
Yeah. It's good that you can enjoy it. It's just me. I kind of zoned out a bit and just didn't really focus.
Remember what we said last time? The sliding scale of how into it we are. Like I'm the casual viewer. You're the top end. As a casual viewer, I enjoyed it.
Good. I did enjoy it, but I was sort of enjoying the spectacle of it rather than the match, if that makes sense. Yeah, I liked the Singhs getting involved because they wanted to be in the dance and prove themselves, and then there was randomly one of the Singhs and R-Truth doing the dance. I've mentioned it previously on these shows. Alicia Fox, they had nothing for her for ages, and she's just worked to develop a character which is done really well, actually. I like the fact that she's this completely delusional character with regard to how important she is, and the fact that the commentary is really pushing the veteran status because that's what the character thinks now. I like that. Yeah. Speaking of the commentary, incidentally, we had Michael Cole on it, and Michael Cole just let the others go because it was theirs, and he just only chimed in occasionally with the odd comment or reminder of this is the greater picture for everything. But otherwise, he just let the calls be done by the two who normally do it, which was nice to see. Yes. It wasn't Michael Cole just overpowering everything. But ultimately, we got. We now have R-Truth as number 30 in the Royal Rumble.
Which one is the question, though?
R-Truth appears in the wrong Royal Rumble. Oh God, that might happen. That might happen.
R-Truth will come out at 30 on the women's one, and then
and then Carmella comes out and goes, "What are you doing?" It's
what are you doing? Yeah.
And then Ellsworth comes out and has a go at him, and there's a program of those two because Ellsworth's bit has been stolen.
Think about this logically, though. It takes the biggest hype piece has always been who's number 30, because it was always a point for big returns or everything else.
Yeah.
And now they've put it on R-Truth, which means that we know, as smarky as we are, R-Truth isn't going to win that and go to WrestleMania. As smarky as we are, we know that's
big changes are promised, Pete. Big changes are promised.
Not that big of a change.
Carmella on the other hand,
is an interesting one. Dangerous.
She has been getting better. I mean, her cold to silence submission is a really impressive kind of submission position. Just like how Alicia Fox has the best Northern Light suplex in the women's division, yet the rest of her work ethic can still need some work on and whatnot. It's the same with Carmella. She's not the greatest kind of wrestler on the thing, but she has one really good submission hold. So, yeah,
it's pretty rare to have a leg based submission as well. That's actually
maybe Alicia Fox and Carmella should do the fusion dance, and we could have one fused
Foxella
competent wrestler with them. Because they got one offensive move and one submission move. There we go. We're all sorted.
That's the Northern Light suplex into the cone of sirens, and there we go. It's all sorted.
Oh, what amazing that would be. That'd be brilliant.
And they're off to Stamford, Connecticut.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's the payoff of that.
I'm guessing do you think there will be vignettes?
Yes,
for the
I was expecting a vignette on fucking SmackDown, but. Meh.
I was gonna say it was either gonna be up on the YouTube channel or up on SmackDown. But,
I imagine it'll be both eventually. But yes, I think we should move on to another tag team match, a triple threat tag team match. The Bar, the New Day, and the Usos.
As many times as we say it here, all three teams always bring it to the table. They always burn it down, and yeah.
I think a lot of people had money on the Bar losing the belts on this one.
I didn't really think so. I think they still had quite the run going forward to go into WrestleMania season, and then hopefully drop them at WrestleMania, possibly.
When the Hardy Boys return again.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure. We'll do that. No. So, but no. It's like I didn't feel that at all. I didn't feel that that the Usos or the New Day had to have the titles back again.
Ice Shamey, I think, is well deserving of that belt.
When did it become a thing that he's now being called Shamey?
I don't know.
Because I was watching it and said, "Oh, here comes Shamey," and I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Please say that to his face so that he can kick yours off.
I wasn't invested with the rap. I've never been with the rap battle kind of like scene. I mean, granted,
I'm an old man. I'm not with the rap
Shut
battle.
up! And it's like,
well, then be quiet, Pete. And let's
for music, okay? But I did get a chuckle at some of the digs that the Usos did to the Bar and whatnot, and how Cesaro got his teeth knocked out based on putting his head into the turnbuckle or like the ring post and whatnot. Like little throwbacks like that. But overall, it's like the belt I wasn't too invested in, but the match itself on the night, it did provide some real good entertainment and worked well because they know how to gel. They know how to work with each other. They have trust in each other and they pull out like always.
Indeed. Mr. Kevin.
As usual, as Turbo was saying, what you come to expect from three tag teams who know how to do their work, know how to tell a story, and know how to tear the house down. Can't say
let's just
anything
hope
more
that
than
we can get some other teams in the mix now.
I don't know. I think those three teams are literally the top pillar of the SmackDown tag team, and I mean they've done well from just taking it away from being the Usos and the New Day to get the Bar in there.
Got the bar back in there.
Well. Indeed, and I think that was kind of the whole idea of moving them over to SmackDown in the first place. But yeah, I mean, hopefully Raw's coming along a long way with their tag team division now. Hopefully after this week's Raw, which we'll obviously mention at the end there. But yeah, let's move forward to a tables, ladders, and chairs match with Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin, where if Corbin wins, he becomes the full-time general manager, and if Strowman wins, he gets the Universal title match at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing that this all got fucked up with Braun Strowman getting injured. Or like he needed to get some surgery beforehand.
I mean, let's be fair. Like the outcome of this match was clear cut. You know, I mean, regardless of whether Strowman was out for longer, getting his shoulder sorted, his elbow sorted, or whatever, he was always going to win this match.
Yeah, it was just how they did it. we could have envisioned how the match would have gone if Strowman was 100%. Would have it been a boring kind of like slog of a match between Corbin, compared to the kind of like angle, kind of like storytelled, kind of like gang up that happened with what we got. We will never know, obviously.
They could have told a better story by having, say, Angle as a supplicant. Like
actually do the actual match.
Yeah.
Which many people were expecting to happen. Is just
But
Braun Strowman having a substitute for the match.
I want to point out that saying that is all well and good, but it still would have come down to the same problem we had when Angle took the place of Roman Reigns when he was out for the illness of the Shield, and they just did the same match, but with Angle. So,
and with Baron Corbin, it wouldn't have. Well, things like he's just not with it. Essentially,
I feel pretty sorry for Baron Corbin because the entire angle has been sort of hastily rewritten and was pushed pretty hard in the commentary. That Raw's well-publicised issues in terms of its viewership recently. They've sort of like trotted him out as the scapegoat for all of everything that was going on.
Yeah, he is literally the scapegoat.
He is literally the scapegoat for the failings of the writing team and the management.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like, wow, you know.
And everyone in the crowd, everyone in the general WWE universe, all the casual fans are eating it up. Because they don't know what's exactly happening.
Because they like having an on-air authoritative figure to hate. You know? That's just how it is.
It's well known.
But when you take the real life situation of ratings are down, the product is getting worse, but then you put it onto this character. You know, it's a bit,
I mean, yes, we're not saying that the Baron Corbin character in its current iteration doesn't suck, because it does. But at the same time, you know,
he's not the reason. He's not the main reason that things were going to pop. You know,
everyone's fed up with what you're doing, WWE. So you know, naturally, we're getting back to basics.
Yes,
Muck basics.
Muck basics indeed. But yeah, it was a stone cold conclusion. The match was serviceable, but pretty garbage.
I'm actually before we go, I'm actually kind of sad that they've sort of truncated the Heath Slater part of that angle.
Yeah, because it was resolved too soon.
Yeah, it's been resolved too soon, and Heath was actually doing some really nice stuff with that.
I think that's based on what happened on Raw this week, though.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
But he was kind of his conflictedness, and the post-match stuff actually on WWE.com was really interesting, as opposed to what was going on.
Indeed. Yeah. I'm going to hastily move away from that to another match, which I'm not entirely sure if I did enjoy. I'll be honest with you. Natalya versus Ruby Riott in a tables match.
I was finding some. Now, granted, the controversy of it all, where you know they were kind of like using the death of Jim the Anvil Neidhart, which is Natty's dad, as part of the storyline for this match and whatnot, is a bit tasteless. But this is
I didn't mind that. I just think it's been a bit too drawn out, and Survivor Series once again is part of the fucking problem for that.
Yeah. Eventually, I think though this was the match that kind of like said, "That's it. We're done. This is the end of this storyline." And I think, and I feel as though it actually worked out quite well, because there were actually like, you know, I was kind of like thinking, oh, what's the Riott Squad going to stop to just go in there, beat up Natty, and just put her in the table, and it's like 3-on-1 kind of like submission. But no, but eventually Natty, one at a time, took each one of them out, put them all through a table. Now, granted, they all went, you know, all went through one table each, eventually. trying to. That's one thing that happened in the commentary as well. Everyone was muddling up on their words. I'm muddling up on my words as well. Yeah, they eventually got knocked out. Eventually, one by one, until it was like Natty and Ruby Riott to work on the match, and there were some really good spots as well. Like Ruby Riott was in the sharpshooter, and the way to kind of like stop and get out of the hold was to get the Neidhart table that was already prepped up and push it so it would fall backwards and hit Natty on set. That was a great kind of like, way of being innovative to try to break a hold.
And the visualization before that of her being in the sharpshooter and having to face the Neidhart table and just screaming at, sort of paying penance to the Neidhart table.
I felt that the match was very serviceable.
Serviceable. Yeah.
Serviceable. Yeah, thank you. I did like that Natty finally got a win out of this and finally got redemption on the fact.
It was a bit more of a Natty we could have. If we said it before that sort of Natty sort of has to sort of wrestle a bit below herself. If she actually was able to cut loose at any time, then she'd probably do damage to everybody. And there was some stiff stuff in there. There was like a truncated belly to back suplex on Ruby kind of early in, which sort of made everyone gasp a bit because that looked stiff as hell. The Liv Morgan bump through the table where she Matt Hardy'd herself and did a back bump blind through a table. That was kind of oof.
It would have been quite bad if she whiplashed her.
Yeah, she landed just about right, and the table broke cleanly, which also helped. But she went through it at speed as well. Yeah. That was not That was not an easy bump at all. But yeah, there was just a general attitude of punishment and severe anger. Natty yelling in Ruby's face was like about, dare you? You're not going to talk about my family again, you bitch, and just slapping the crap out of her. It was great fun.
It was quite,
clearly, it meant something. Even though there was nothing really going on, the match felt like it meant something, even on a personal level, which is actually something that a lot of the WWE angles have kind of been missing, I think.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot, because normally in the battle of good versus evil, face versus heel or whatever, there is still a personal element. And whilst there is, the almost over-the-top sense of the likes of the stuff going on with Reigns and Rollins and Ambrose and everything going on there, there's the rest of the card tends to lose that a bit. It's all I'm better than you because
I'll tell you what, and I'll raise this as a question to you both, as well as to the comment section on YouTube, or you can get at us on our fancy new Twitter one at Faces in Peril. If you think the wrestlers had more control over the storyline that they wanted to pros and who they wanted to do it with, do you think the storytelling would be better?
Yes. Plain simple.
Now, bearing in mind, all I'm saying is that they come up with the idea and the direction.
Because even some of them can come up with some really good ideas, but they never get put through because the writers will just go, or Vince McMahon will go, nah, I don't like that. Yeah.
The best storylines of the past 15 years, all of them pretty much have had the fingerprints of the wrestlers all over them, which says a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, by doing that, it does mean that a wrestler, sports entertainer, however you want to call it, will live or die by those decisions. Yeah. So if it gets good reception, then they should get all the credit. But likewise, if it's a bad choice in a bad direction, then they're going to have to live with the consequences of that as well.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it is a double-edged sword. Absolutely.
But how bad would it be if you basically if you called it effectively like a match, but called an angle like a match, and you say, okay, well, we want this person to be in front at this point in the angle, this pay-per-view, this person to go over at the end, you guys fill in the blanks in terms of how you want to do this. Or they want the story to be about this, but you tell it as how it befits your characters and how you would like to do it. Because ultimately, that way, you've got the wrestlers working together more. It's more a effort to get both of them over, in a sense, by default, because it's not being who's X far ahead is not being determined necessarily within matches, and they can sort of tweak things as a result themselves, but they can still hit those various key points that the writers have come up with, or what have you.
But I mean, the main idea I'm getting with here is that the main point I'm trying to make is that with more of a direction of this, we get away with more pissing on robes. Shit like that just wouldn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
I forgot. I wondered what you would. I thought you would like giving some weird metaphor for a minute, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, that happened."
Yeah, that happened. Yeah.
Well, it could be worse. It could be someone naked only with a robe on in an aeroplane, and
I thought you were going. I thought you were talking about a little E there for a second.
No.
I'm going to move on. Well. I think we can say that we enjoyed it, better or not. I'm going to talk about a match that I did not enjoy. Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre.
You were not invested in this?
I was not interested in this match at all. I was more invested in Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton than I was in this match.
Okay, I can understand that.
It just feels boring. It's retold again, small man versus big man. It just feels like they just want to take Finn Balor, and they've gone, hey, Finn Balor, you debuted on Raw, won the Universal Championship in the first month. Hooray, brilliant. And you've injured yourself, you come back, and we're going to shit all over you.
I can understand that. I can definitely see where you're going with that.
Are you sure you weren't watching Rey Mysterio?
What? Yeah, I mean, well, it's different, isn't it? I mean, this is just a standard singles match, and that one had chairs.
Well, I just meant because what you just described is pretty much what
Rey
Mysterio's career was for a very long time in WWE.
Yeah, but Finn is capable of more. We've seen him capable of better and everything else. But it's what has Finn literally just done? He's come off the back of the big man versus the small man, specifically pointed out to be the small man against fucking Baron Corbin, and that was fucking boring. Is it the best?
And we just had him finish that off. Yeah, like earlier in the show.
Yeah,
he was a part of that.
And now he's against Drew McIntyre.
And we love Drew.
Yeah,
Drew doesn't need this.
I mean, Drew's gone from top of the card to fucking. He should be the person that's fighting. And this is again going back to the point I said last time when we had this fucking thing. You need to have multiple top contenders for the fucking championship fighting out every time. You haven't got fucking Brock there. Fine, let fucking Drew fight the fucking monster. Do it. It'll be way more entertaining.
They've got heat on the angle with the two of them.
Yes.
Let them go.
I would be much more invested to see a big man versus a big man who are generally fucking angry at each other because they fucking betrayed each other and they're sick of each other's company and they want that fucking belt.
It's like there's a personal investment in the story. It's so weird because we've heard for a while that Drew's sort of earmarked for big things, and he's been positioned very well on Raw recently, and yet he's sort of getting pulled down into the same mid-card mire as Finn is. Clearly. Yeah.
I mean, I can already see where the direction of Raw is going right now, and with what they want to do with the card. Like, we're all aware that they're clearly positioning Seth Rollins to go for the Universal Championship at fucking Mania. We're all well aware of that. They've obviously set up Dean Ambrose to be a fucking mid-tier, massive fucking super heel, is what they're aiming for that to be. Fucking put Finn against him. I think Finn and Ambrose would have some fucking spectacular matches.
Finn Ambrose would make me care about Ambrose.
And it would definitely get something out of Finn as well. To have him compete for the well, actually, we better not say that yet. But
the US title. Because they're both being shoved. They'll shove the titles around at some point, probably pre-Mania.
But although going back to the match, I thought the match was all right. You know, it's just I can understand how the big man, little man kind of like mentality of it all, but it had some decent, chemistry. A little bit.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying I wasn't interested in, and probably because I just wasn't interested. I had no want to be interested in the match.
It suffered from being a bit placeholder.
Fair enough.
It suffered from being what amounted to a piss break, I think, at that point.
Ultimately, both men deserve better.
No, don't move on. I've said my piece. You guys can talk about this match.
No, I've just accepted that, and then I can't really add on top of. I can't argue for or against what you said. So yeah.
Kev?
I think that in itself, the fact that we're all sort of about it, kind of sums it up.
It's really bad because both of those guys are. Like, they've got so much more to offer currently on the card and way more to offer down the line as well. It's so disappointing to just be there. It really is.
And let's not put down or infer that their work rate was in any way poor for that match. They both busted their ass as usual, as you would expect from both of those individuals.
That's how I kind of like enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's their work ethic.
Yeah. But ultimately, it's for something that was going nowhere, in something that in a storyline that is repetitious, and in a match that we've kind of seen.
Yeah,
it was a little bit of a Raw match in a pay-per-view, I guess. But
I guess with the exception of like the championship matches, like there had to be a singles match to break up a tables match and then a chairs match, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean.
You have to have some normality.
And this again refers back to this problem that we've talked about on the Hell in the Cell thing. You fucking got a themed pay-per-view around it, and you just tire everybody out with this stuff.
It should be that there's clever enough people at that company and people who are paid enough at that company for every match on the card to be important.
Absolutely.
There's no excuse why it can't be. If there's a match that's not important, or it's a bit whatever, then don't have it on the card, because you're not doing anybody any favors. You're not doing the wrestlers any favors. You're not doing the quality of the pay-per-view any favors. You're not doing if you're just going to give them go out and give them 8 minutes. You're not doing the program any favours either, if you're just essentially maintaining a status quo. Don't put it on there. Or put something else on there. Or come up with a different idea that makes it something more important. But don't just put something out there for the sake of putting something out there.
Yeah.
I think this would have been positioned better, and I think people would have been more invested if it was between and I hate to put it earlier on the card because of the caliber of the guys, but between the mixed match challenge and the triple threat tag team match.
Yeah.
It just the position of the card would have been better. Doesn't really matter if we go from tables match to fucking chairs match. Honestly, doesn't. Just fucking move it in. Put the fucking Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman up a position in between it, and because it's people still treated it like a piss break anyway. You know, and then you could have still had your break between a tables match and a chairs match because it was just fucking Baron Corbin getting pissed on essentially. But yeah, no, I digress. We're talking more about the fucking hatred of this shit.
Before we go there, how much better would the card have been? The main card have been if we'd have switched the cruiserweight title out of the pre-show with that match with Drew and.
Probably would have made things a little bit better.
I think if you put Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre on the pre-show, they would have gone out there. Just like anything else, and they would have gone to tear the fucking house down, as people of that caliber fucking should anyway. But it would also, and I guarantee it, if they were on the pre-show and announced to be on the pre-show, nearly every bastard in the world would have watched the pre-show.
Interesting, huh? And you'd have still got the spectacle of the cruiserweights from 205 Live, and you still have that quality of match. But then that slot in the card means so much more.
But yeah, it's unfortunate because people on the pre-show, obviously because they're not on DVD rights and everything else, they don't get that fucking pay bonus. It's a long fucking conversation to have.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, I think.
Good old WWE.
Antiquated rules. Right, speaking of antiquated rules and antiquated people, Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton in a chairs match.
Wow! It's great that we're back in 2010 again.
Does it feel kind of that Randy's trying to build up a legend killer gimmick again by going after the old greats?
Which
that's kind of what they've inferred.
Himself is an old great.
They've kind of inferred that with he's going after your heroes. It's like,
I mean, the only person who can kill Randy Orton is Randy Orton himself. He will legend kill his own legend.
He should RKO himself.
He's his legend.
RKO himself. Give him. You know what he needs? He needs the DDT special he gave RVD that time that sent him away.
Yeah.
You know, off the barrier one that looked like he was just dead.
Yeah, he just
gives that to himself, and then. But it's in his veins, everybody. And we've figured out what it is. It's boredom.
Do you know what? I shit on Randy Orton for having a boring match. I was legitimately invested in this.
It's because Rey Mysterio had some really good spots in this.
He did, but then I was really looking forward to the end of the match with the spot where they set up the 4 chairs. I was like, no, there's not going to be an RKO through 4 chairs. That would be too good.
And you're right, it wasn't.
Yeah, you were right.
I mean, it was a clever, innovative use of the chairs.
Yeah,
but to get a pin off that was weird.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I mean, the most notable spot to me was Ray baseball sliding with the chair.
Doing his slide splash with the chair. That was sweet.
The most notable spot of that entire match was Orton with the chair on the announcer's table, adjusting it just right. Just right.
He's a perfectionist.
Also, a shout out to the mohawk that Ray's mask had.
Yeah.
What was happening with that? Was that like some spare fur from Tiger Mask?
I was going to say he just came off the set of the new Fist and North Star movie.
Look, we know the man doesn't have hair anymore, but is this going to be his thing? Is he going to slowly go the way of Kane and get more?
Neither does Shawn Michaels. Does that mean he's going to wear his hat all the time in the ring and have a mohawk attached to the hat?
He's going to have a sun visor on the mask, and that's what he's going to do.
Lucha Libre Shawn Michaels.
It's everybody wants to be.
You joked that, Pete, but that was already showcased on an episode of Edge and Christian.
Was it actually?
Yes, it was.
Oh no! But
Where
it's like everybody
Shawn
wants to be
Michaels dressed up
Triple
as
H all of a sudden, and I'm not quite sure why. So we've now got Rey Mysterio as masked Triple H, and yeah, I don't know. It was a match.
I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the match. It had good spots.
Yeah.
As for a chairs match, match.
Because normally chairs matches are boring.
Exactly. I enjoyed it. I really did.
Because people couldn't find any innovative way to use a chair. But no, Ray was able to do that. Orton had some fun with it, essentially. But
Orton got to try and take back his title of best power slam from Samoa Joe.
That power slam was beautiful.
Yeah, it did help that he was basically doing it on somebody that was basically an oversized child. Because Ray's like two sticks and a couple of Ray's two sticks, a couple of leaves and a mask. So doing that on him is pretty easy.
Yeah.
So it did look like it killed him. But at the same time, outside of that, Orton was just.
Yeah.
I've taken over your role for this week, Pete. I'm sorry. Orton was so fucking boring.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
He's literally being paired up with people. That just like the entire his booking is entirely around who can I have a match with, which will allow me to do a fancy RKO.
Nothing will ever top the WrestleMania RKO with Seth Rollins.
God, yeah, because that
nothing can top that.
Ridiculous. But damn it, he's going to try.
And try he shall.
He's going to try.
The time.
It seems
our
that
patience.
you guys are done with this one, so let's move on to Ronda Rousey, and Nia Jax with Tamina at ringside. Thoughts? Oh, Turbo, you look like you want to just unleash a barrel of words.
I don't know.
The floor's yours, buddy.
I'll commend Ronda. She did her best working with Nia Jax here because
I thought she had some quite amazing spots in this, actually.
she has some really good stuff, and the aggression was there, and Ronda's okay. It's just it's like I wasn't that getting into it and whatnot, and of course Nia obviously keeping her heel heat from Survivor Series after busting open Becky Lynch on the Raw before Survivor Series, and still keeping that heat going. But of course, it wasn't gonna keep her from going for long. Essentially, she had to get beaten by Ronda Rousey, and yeah, I mean, I really couldn't find anything to invested into it and whatnot, but no, it's like it was a serviceable match. It's like, and good on Ronda to try to make good working with Nia, because Nia was just I just wasn't feeling it from her this time around. Normally she's like in kind of like full on force, kind of like persona in the ring, but this time around I wasn't feeling it.
There was I think because the whole thing was, Ronda's faster because Nia's big, and we had the whole missing of the punches, and Nia freaking Jax can hit you. Okay, she's quick. If it was WWE commentary, they would at this point say deceptively quick, which is their very way of saying it's a big person, they can move fast. But okay, so good things. Ronda selling again. I've said that before. It's getting better and better in terms of stuff. her playing to the crowd and what's going on around the ring was doing good. I like the little flourish at the end, with like the kissing of the kiss of the hand and looking at Tamina as she was doing.
Oh yeah, the show. I'll definitely say this. The showmanship that Ronda has is getting better. Also, I'll also commend her that she didn't look like a bat with the eyeshadow.
You don't like that? I think it's obviously something that's left over from her fucking UFC days. I imagine more.
I don't think she had that in her UFC days.
You don't wear makeup in the UFC. You wear your opponent's blood.
Yeah, it's like something
and
like
their
that.
Teeth as a necklace.
Yeah, but I'll give her that her showmanship and her her kind of like presentation of herself in the ring is not as flamboyant. Well, the presentation of her face isn't as flamboyant as possible.
It's not. Normal. Yeah, it's not. She's not drowning in mascara as she's been.
Yeah,
just wait until WrestleMania.
Oh God, don't! She's gonna come out like Sting and won't even mean it. Her showmanship in the ring has gotten better because previously, I mean, we said that it was good and it was all promising, but it was kind of clunky. She's ironing that out, but at the same time, part of that's because she's spending so long in the performance center practicing the matches in advance. But there was some interesting stuff on the commentary. There was a part where she countered a vertical suplex. Renee Young treated it like it was the second coming. It's like, she's an athlete above all others. Well, she's counted the fucking suplex. I mean, it's not that. She's done basic counter 101. Yes! Amazing. Best we've ever seen.
I like the stuff where Ronda just runs up them and takes them down that way.
Yeah, the step up stuff's nice because no one's really doing that.
I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that.
No one's doing that to step up anything.
It's different. It's different from what you normally see.
No. Okay, I'll give it that much. Yeah, I'll reversing my kind of like dismay on the whole thing.
Yeah.
See, this is because you're too smarky, John. If you were more casual, you'd enjoy it more.
So basically, what we're saying,
John,
what we're saying to you here is, it's important if you want to enjoy WWE, try and care about it less.
No. If you want to enjoy WWE,
I should be drinking more then.
Care about everything less.
Yeah. Just go into a pay-per-view feeling like, there's not much point in being here anymore, and then you'll come out of it thinking, well, I've lasted this long. Let's continue. I will say actually, I like the Nia Tamina pairing, actually.
I don't know if it'll last though.
Why she was at ringside?
They started this off because of the showdown that they had in the ring
at Evolution. Yeah.
At Evolution, and people were kind of okay, I'd like to see those two go at it.
Yeah.
In terms of because they're the powerhouses, and it would
be good to see them go at it. But when are they bringing these women's tag titles into it? That'd be fucking amazing.
At WrestleMania pre-show access Hollywood Facebook special.
Look, I'm no word of a lie.
Actually, that's reminded me. All right, rewind all the way to Mixed Match Challenge. All right.
Yeah.
Right. Why are we fucking pretending in an intergender tag match when both wrestlers are down that a hot tag is important? One of them.
That's a good point.
Any time either of them get to tag the opponents in, the other one is automatically out, and they can't attack the other ones unless you're the lady, in which case you can attack the man, but not the other way around, because otherwise Mattel will get upset.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why, in case if you weren't aware of it, because it's in their contract with the toys, and you mustn't show that. Other way around's fine. Yeah, equality. But it's like both both the ladies were down. They were going for or both the guys were down. They were going for the tag, and it's like everyone's cheering. It's like, yeah, you can get the tag. It's like, yeah, either of them can get the tag. It doesn't matter. What just no point in just racing the other person. Just let them go. If you want out, just let the other person get there first.
Pause. Spin on.
Anyway, this was your clip of me pointing out the fucking stupidity of hot tags in an intergender match. Anyway, moving on.
Oh yeah, women's tag team championships. Yeah. Fucking. Even if we rewind back to that Raw a couple of bits ago where they did that second stupid segment, and even Bayley and fucking Sasha were asking for the tag team championships. It's just like, fucking, just do it. Like, you'd find so much more use for the rest of the women in the actual team. You'd probably fill a fucking hole in that third hour of Raw somewhere.
Actually, I think I figured out why. Because one of the Iconics is injured.
Oh, are they?
Billy Kay, is it?
Billy Kay, yeah.
I think I was reading that she's hurt at the minute.
Oh,
so that might be why. Because if they're going to put it on somebody to begin with, they're going to put it on the Iconics and not Sasha and Bayley.
No, they have to put it on a heel team first, yeah.
Yeah, but stuff, fine. Good match. Enjoyed it. Was fun. Especially enjoyed the ending. I think we can all agree on that. Yeah. More, please. Ronda, please.
Well, hopefully in the coming months, we'll definitely get some really good...
Well, let's hope that
seeds are sown.
Yes.
Let's hope that we have a good match at the Rumble. We see what's happening. Oh, I mean, we already know who's winning the women's Royal Rumble, don't we?
Alicia Fox.
I'm going to just assume sarcasm.
From number one. She's going to go all the way. She's going to Shawn Michaels it and other people who may have also won from number one.
Oh, it really wouldn't surprise me with this second women's Royal Rumble if we have a type thing. It really would.
Who would that be? Who would end up doing the Michaels?
Charlotte.
Becky.
Oh. I could see them doing either. But I could see them doing it for Charlotte just because...
I think Becky's going to do it.
Charlotte's not had a push recently.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off into the bin.
It's like, my heart says Becky, but my mind says Charlotte because WWE are dumb nuts.
Becky will do it. They'll do it with Becky. Because it'll be another point of proving because she'll announce it. She'll be like, "I'm the man. I'm going in number one."
And then the crowd reaction will obviously wake up the creative team and say, "Okay, we need to do this."
Maybe
she'll do that. Charlotte will probably push and say, "Well, I'm going in number 2." Becky will win it. Becky will go on to Mania and fight Ronda Rousey at Mania.
Then you have Sasha and Bayley at 3 and 4.
Maybe.
Oh, so the 4 horsewomen. Oh wow.
That'd be interesting.
And then shenanigans happens and people and 3 of them get chucked out by heels.
But yeah, yeah. Anyway, we're running along over time. A match I'm fully expecting John to be super into. The new Daniel Bryan versus Aj Stiles. This match was legitimate dog shit.
Oh, shut up!
No, I'm joking. This was really fucking cool. A very good technical match.
Yeah, it worked well.
Fun to watch.
Definitely worked well, better than their first pairing when the title changed hands on the SmackDown.
I don't know. I think that they played that off very well.
That was the catalyst to this match, obviously, because on that match, obviously Daniel Bryan turned heel. He's now this environmentalist, kind of like character, which is doing great for him because he needed this heel turn to become this, this guy who does not care for humankind. He's almost like a House of the Dead villain to a certain villain.
Actually, I can understand that. Actually,
he's like Goldman. He's like
fickle. Fickle.
Welcome to Bryanson Mansion.
No. I say Goldman, like Goldman. It's like,
I think it's good. I noticed he was wearing.
We were supposed to protect the life cycle.
I noticed he was wearing his dragon knee pads.
Aye. There's definitely a taste of the old kind of like,
Ring of Honor,
American Dragon, Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, more so. But yeah,
there was some slick stuff going on there.
There was some really good stuff in this match, and Bryan won with the.
It was clean, wasn't it? Yeah,
clean with a small package.
A small package counter to a small package.
Yeah,
which made sense in the grand storyline because he's been doing that a lot recently. But...
Yeah, he's been just easing out the wins.
When was the last time you had a small package victory be really satisfying like that? I can't recall.
Don't know.
It made sense in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
That said, was AJ Styles really worried that he was going to get run over by a car or something?
I think he was just being very cautious of Daniel and his.
And also himself, because I think he was.
I was more talking about the fact that he was in luminous yellow. Because it was like, did he have to be like really visible to traffic in case there was anything issue going on? Was he cycling home after his match?
You're talking about his new ring gear, aren't you? Yeah, I'm not going to shit over his ring gear as much as I shit over the Danielsons from a few weeks ago. Daniel Bella and all that.
The green. Green's never a really good color to have on your ring gear half of the time, unless you could really pull it off, like Triple H.
Does anybody have anything specific they want to say about this match? Because I just
love this match. End of story. This match is awesome. This was almost match of the
quality, and I'm gonna go back and watch it again very soon.
Cool,
because it was like.
But I am going to use this match as a point to say, fuck me, who decided that after two great technical wrestlers, fucking Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, were going to decide to be technical in a fucking match, which is not to their forte when fucking Ambrose is a brawler like Cena, and fucking Rollins is more of a, I don't know.
High flyer counter wrestler.
Yeah, high flyer and counterer.
Nothing says burn it down like technical wrestling.
Again, it could have just been solved by just being somewhere different on the card. And please, WWE, remember to respect your world fucking championship titles, please.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the Intercontinental is the highest fucking prestige belt you've got on Raw at the moment, but fuck me. You wouldn't
the WWE title. Yeah.
You would not put the United States title that high up on the card unless John Cena was wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, best thing of the match, Ambrose's jacket.
Sorry, Bane.
Oh,
Chef Rollins, I see you've got my gold.
This city is full of stink. I cannot deal with this.
I have here a letter from Vince McMahon. I admit all my crimes. I lied. It wasn't the Batman. It was Shane McMahon. And the name on the contract says Shane McMahon.
Sure you mean Seamus McMahon.
I think you mean Shamey McMahon. Shamey.
If this match was after Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton, but before Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax, nobody would have batted a fucking eyelid.
No.
But because you've literally just put it after Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, you literally have boring chance.
Likewise, curtain. If it was a curtain jerker, fine.
Oh, if this was the fucking start of the show, absolutely.
Awesome! What a fantastic start of the match. Where it was, like, what is it with the last four of these? I think it's all boiled down a lot of our stuff to they can't set up a card right.
Yeah. It's
for the last 50 years,
they have so many different variables going on. Trying to organize the bloody thing that they can't trying to get the matches set up and whatnot, that they forget how well to organize each match in the card and whatnot.
I want to reiterate
about it.
I want to reiterate that this is no fault to fucking Seth and Dean on this one. This is completely down to the booker's fault for knowing how to signing off on how they wanted to do the match, and then going, yes, it's a technical match. I approve. It's going to be high on the card following Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. And, signed off on it without having a fucking simple conversation with any of the other bookers going, are you doing a technical match? You've got Daniel Bryan. Is that a technical match? Because we're following you. It's, no.
Well, that's always been ongoing, going back to...
But it shouldn't be the case.
Going back to Survivor Series, where on the pre-show kickoff show for Survivor Series, SmackDown won the match on the pre-show, but every other match on the main card.
Yeah, but SmackDown weren't meant to win that match.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That was miscommunication with bookers. So that is still an ongoing problem.
It's almost like there should be somebody like above the writers, overseeing the writers, like a head of writers or something like that, or just somebody where the buck stops with them as their like final decisions. It's like there should be someone like that, and we should get that person and put them more front and center and in charge, because clearly they are the person that is required.
WWE, if you're recruiting a head writer, just saying. Just saying.
Because ultimately, who is the head? Who is the head of the writers?
Yes. Who writes for the writers?
Who is the head? Who is the head of creative?
Who writes for the writers?
And who has seniority above her? But it's that sort of thing, in that you're supposed to be bringing order to everything. Reckon you should know this.
Indeed. Yeah, it's just a problem of being in the wrong place on the card. Again, literally, it was a good match. No one's going to say it's not, but it's just...
And the right outcome came about where Ambrose had to get the title off of Seth Rollins.
Yeah, because we know what's going on with that.
Yeah, so...
In the meantime, Seth can chase.
Yeah, they'll have that. They'll have that match, which means that Seth's not going to be in the Rumble?
There's a good possibility that won't be happening.
A good possibility. I mean, he could do double duty, because I think Seth's one of those guys that he has before.
Well, here's the thing: if Roman Reigns can have a Universal title match at Royal Rumble and then enter himself into the goddamn Rumble, then Seth Rollins can do it too.
Oh yeah, so we forgot about Royal Rumble season. So hang on, let's just do this, because we sort of touched on this last year. So I am nominating myself as a member of the Royal Rumble this year, because as we know, any fucker apparently can. So I'm going to go into the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to win it all from number 29. Because you can nominate yourself for numbers as well. Especially if your name ends with Cena. So
you can't nominate yourself as number 30.
I know. That's why I said 29. That's contractually obligated. Yes, fine. I mean, I'm sure I could win it off archery through a game of dominoes or something, or tiddlywinks, or betting in what colour the fucking sky is. It doesn't really matter. But just so you know. That's going to happen. I'll tell you what, somebody who, speaking of the reaction to Rollins and Ambrose, somebody who's reportedly not very happy at all was the walking corpse that they've currently got in a suit they keep dragging out. Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Vince. I mean, Vince looks like... Vince looks like Grandpa Munster at the minute.
He is in his mid-70s now.
I know, but it's caught up with him rapidly.
He looks like he's lost a lot of muscle weight recently.
Yes, he's very, very, very gaunt in the face, and yeah.
Reportedly he's not very happy, but reportedly he's not happy with the entire fucking pay-per-view. Apparently. So there's that.
So
But then-
apparently there was some things he was not.
But
happy
then
with.
I think that's just being entirely not happy with just how everything's been just going lately.
Yeah,
Anyway.
he's just obviously just taking his gripes out with.
Yeah, exactly.
everything.
I'd like to just touch on and wrap up, and we'll talk about the last match of Asuka, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Another awesome match.
What a fucking match!
Yep. I was tied between this and the Daniel Bryan AJ Styles match from earlier. These two matches, ooh.
I want to touch.
Hold them in your hands and just.
There are two things. No, there are three things. Sorry, that Charlotte Flair had in this match which stood out to me. One was when Asuka put her through the very small part of the table, and it looked like Charlotte smashed her head on the fucking metalwork underneath the table.
Yeah.
That stood out to me. The second one was a stupid fucking moonsault where she landed on her feet again.
Yep.
Fucking hell.
She'll keep doing it.
Yes.
And keep getting that Kevin's biscuits.
And the third one, which I thought was really cool, is where she shouted out, "The man, you may be the man, but the man always bows down to a queen, kneels before a queen, or bows down before the queen." It was one of those two.
Either or. It's
Something like that. It was when she was getting her on the table, wasn't it? And then there was the case of her getting her rib cage caved in.
Yeah, that looked a little bit horrible when I saw it on the replay.
Oh yeah, that was a very Becky landed real hard on.
Because it was arse first as well, wasn't it? So it was all the
it's
way.
like good that Asuka was able to move out of the way, but Charlotte, oof, jeez. I hope she didn't break anything like that.
She looked alright, but
Yeah.
clearly wasn't rested last night.
Charlotte was in the wars a bit in that one.
But I think that was more they were trying to not do a lot with Becky. It felt like in the match. I think
she's
that's
hurt.
Well, she was still like she was clear from the concussion, but she
had to take it easy,
questionable cleared from the fractured nose.
I think it was more of a case of I think WWE realized that they just couldn't stop her. She was absolutely adamant she was going to be there, and it was like I think they did like an old school, you're cleared, sign a waiver job.
It was a grand okay. We need you to drop the title and have you ready for, Ronda Rousey because you're still a bit hurt. You're still healing this here. And it's like okay, but let me do the match. Don't make me miss the match because that will just piss everyone off. It's like make me look like a fighting champion and let me fight in the match, and I'll lose it that way. It's all right, And they were just okay, fine, go ahead.
It was good.
Like, just be careful,
I'd honestly say that my only gripe I have was Ronda Rousey's Ronda Rousey's conclusion at the end. I get why it was done. It's to build more shit. I swear to Christ, please don't do a triple threat at Mania of those three.
It might.
I would much rather see Lynch and Rousey, and we have Asuka Charlotte too. I would.
Oh God! I hope the Royal Rumble this year for the women's match it doesn't end up like a. What was the first time? Is it Brett Luger scenario, or Batista John Cena scenario?
Do you know what? Let them do it. Let them do it, but then do it like what they did with Rock Big Show and let them fight it out at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in a singles match for who gets the #1 contendership.
Okay.
I could still see them, turning this into horsewoman. Because you've now got the situation whereby that Ronda has wronged both of them, if you like. And now there's a sort of bond there of vengeance because they're like trying to claw over each other to get at Ronda Rousey.
But do you think they would do that at Rumble, Elimination Chamber, or Mania?
Mania, it's a Mania one, but again,
Ronda would not be, defending her title at Mania if she's still champion.
She might not, but
I would think that to keep it as a marquee, like something as a marquee match for the Mania pay-per-view,
if Rousey's
Ronda Rousey still being champion and going into the
if they're going to do Horsewoman versus Horsewoman, Rousey will lose the belt at the Elimination Chamber. It's just a given.
But if you need to anger the other two, so the Rumble's the best place to have that happen.
All
right. I don't think so, and I will state again once more on the record: WWE don't do more pay-per-views where title belts aren't on the fucking line. It's stupid.
But what if you did Horsewoman, and whoever pins Rousey gets
is the champion?
Put that little.
I've said that before, but then
the
easy way around that is to not have Rousey in the ring, not eat the pin. I think it's a good spectacle match. I like the idea of it. I don't think it will happen. At least not until the rest of the horsewomen are off. The MMA horsewomen are off fucking NXT at least.
Brought up, yeah.
But yeah, relatively solid pay-per-view. I think, with the exception of 2 to 3 matches, I think it could have just been better. The whole pay-per-view in general, just with a slight card change, I think I honestly would go mixed match, Finn Balor, The Bar, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Natalya, Braun Strowman, Rey Mysterio, Rousey, Daniel Bryan, and Triple Threat. Just move it around slightly. I think it would have just been a lot better and flowed better. As such, scores on the doors. Mr. John, start us off.
Well, after refiguring it in my head and whatnot, it's like I'll give it a 7. It's like I did like some stuff, and there was some stuff that I didn't like, but it wasn't as bad as previous things. Like the past couple of like pay-per-views that we had that I've seen. One we, stuff that we have reviewed and one we haven't. This was actually better than what's been around in the last couple of months. So yeah, keep it a solid 7.
Mr. Kev.
I'm going to go higher and say 7.5. No, the quality was great, and it was good matches throughout, at least for the most part. Just let down by the pacing of the card, really, more than anything. There was arguably one slight dud, 2 slight duds, but they were kind of like subjective ones. So I'm going to say 7.5.
See, I'm going to give it a solid 6, and if the card was better, it would be an 8. I honestly think that's how much just a better order on the card just could have made the show.
Fair enough. So definitely your kind of like structuring is what would be beneficial to this card. It would have been much better show for yourself.
Every match deserved to be on the card in where it all everything there had a story to tell.
It was just if it was just organized.
If it was structured better, it would have held my attention more.
Yeah.
And whatever. But it would if it was structured better and kept my interest throughout all of it, it would have been a solid 8 because it just would have been in a better order. Wouldn't have fucking drained me mentally or anything else. And by moving that card around in the way I suggested, you also have your shorter and your longer matches in between each other. So you're not stacking the end of the card with 3 20 to 25 minute matches. Done.
Cool. Oh well.
Cool. Good. Before we tie up, let's talk about Raw
and SmackDown.
For the most part, yeah.
Well, for the majority of Raw.
So, what happened on Raw, as you're probably very well aware, the McMahons are back, including
McMahon found me bollocks.
Including Triple H M. Triple H McMahon as well. They have verbally said that they're taking more of a stance, and they hear that we're upset. They hear that a lot of the problems have been the stories and everything else, and they're going to take more of a stance. Okay, brilliant. That's fine. I want to say to everyone of our viewers, old and new alike, they've said this before.
Yep. They have said this multiple times.
It's
and
not.
It just goes well for a month, and then
it's
goes right back into the status quo.
Exactly. It's one of those. We hear you. We'll change it, and then we'll change it back when we realize that we need this and everything else working. It's not going to be happening immediately. I imagine a lot of it's going to be put in place, and they're going to tie up what storylines they have towards the end of the Rumble, and then look at a fresh face. It probably won't be until after Mania, as they normally.
Oh God, no! It won't, because damn it, they have their plans. They're not going to change their plans for anyone.
Just be very wary. And don't take everything they've said to heart. I think is the best way to do it until we actually see the fruits of what they're doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like I was skeptical from the word go.
I was happy enough with SmackDown because it felt like the McMahon inclusion, the McMahons were there. There was a skit or two on SmackDown, but for the most part, the McMahons weren't overly on the show, whereas it just felt that they were prominent throughout all of Raw.
Mm. Well, of course, because Raw is the prominent show.
Exactly. I mean, it's essentially. I mean, look at the last hour. Just look at the last hour.
Yeah, this is the big. How much of this was more down to the fact that SmackDown was doing so well in comparison? Like what happened the last time SmackDown was doing really well in comparison.
I was going to say, in terms of in terms of the viewership and whatnot, it's still not into the same numbers as Raw. But maybe, possibly, with the new Fox deal that they got going.
Oh yeah, well, by default it becomes the A show.
Yeah. So the word on the street is that SmackDown is going to become more sports based because it's going into a sports slot on Fox.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't care. Like fucking WWE, start getting into this contract that you can fucking multi-show it on the fucking network, so that people outside the US don't have to pay fucking ludicrous prices to watch a fucking show.
Yeah. It's like Sky is dead here.
Yeah, we already pay for the network. You need to get your multi-brand show that we can send store your programs up to date on the network, so the rest of us can view it on time. That's what the rest. If you want to listen to fucking consumer stuff, listen to everybody that's outside America. Put your fucking live show on the network, even if you can't host it there.
Yeah, it was bad.
A couple of weeks.
It was bad enough that they had to take away main event because of the Sky deal.
Just fucking host it on the network. That's it. I like live show it on the network. Even if
they have that 1 month kind of delay, essentially.
It's too much.
I know it's too much. It's too long.
Thanks. I'll catch up with the months of Raw and SmackDown. when I'm already at the next pay-per-view.
Well, they're pretty much all the same anyway. So
there you go. Right. Anyway, that's enough of the rant there. I think literally just don't
keep an eye out.
Just.
One last thing. Poor Paige.
Yeah, I know.
But Baron Corbin at least got a match for, I know Paige can't wrestle, but Baron Corbin got a match to determine whether or not he could stay as permanent GM. Paige just, oh yeah, thanks, bye.
Yeah, here's your pink slip.
Yeah. She's going to be doing other things, apparently.
Let's see what happens, because I hope it's something prominent. Something good.
I liked Paige as GM.
I did like Paige as GM as well. It's like she was the only, GM that didn't actually have any vendetta against any of the other ones at the time.
I think we'll be seeing Paige in a more managerial role.
There's a good possibility with that.
Yes. I have been Pete Titans Creed Nevercoat, joined by the one and only Mr. Kevin, the Kevin Eva. And the paragon of DDP Yoga, Mr. John Turbo Finley. You can catch all of our socials. You can catch John at Turbo XLR. You can catch Kev at the Kevin Eva. You can catch me at Titans Creed. You can talk to us on the new last minute kick out Twitter at Faces in Peril. You can catch this show on youtube.com/last minute kickout. Kev?
I think so.
That's the one. It'll be on the iTunes feed as well. If you follow the Twitters of Faces in Peril, you will know when it's up on the iTunes feed, or if you've already subscribed to us. Superb. Thank you very much. As always, thank you very much for watching and or listening to us wherever you have been doing so. We'd like to hear your feedback on what you'd like us to talk about. If there's any other shows you'd like us to do, we want to get more content out there. It's just a matter of what you want to actually listen to us do or talk about, or just in general. So let us know. There's a whole comment section on YouTube, or there's, all of our Twitter feeds. Please come and talk to us. We're there to talk about wrestling and various bullshittery that happens in just general everyday life. Please come and talk to us. Please, I need more people to talk to me. As always, thank you very much for watching and listening. And until the next last minute kick out cast, we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.